Pokemon!
It's the Railgun. The Railgun is a projectile-based hitscan weapon, and because FDev listened to the high-skilled player base, it's one of the most versatile weapons in the game. Whenever it is used against bank tanks, hybrids, and hull tanks, it's their worst fucking nightmare, because simultaneously it can negate 90% of a shield cell bank, effectively neutering it, and it can devastate internal modules with a couple of clicks of the left mouse button. But it still fits into the hitscan category, which means it is bound to be used by Stormtrooper approved idealistic bastards. It has a very large distributor draw, the highest thermal load for a weapon, a pretty limiting ammo capacity, and you have to hold down the left mouse button for its short charging sequence. You pubbers need to understand that these railguns are not blasters from Star Wars, they are precision weapons meant to act as those planetary railguns from The Expanse. There are a handful of ships which have a unique combination of hardpoint placement, distributor size and thermal load tolerance that can take full advantage of having multiple railguns. These include the Federal Dropship and Gunship, the Alliance Chieftain and Challenger, Zorgan Peterson's 30 Alliance, and the big boy of the bunch, the Anaconda. With the combination of their smooth flight models, excellent hardpoint placement and dank as fuck distributors, they are excellent platforms to stack as many railguns as possible. So here's what you're gonna need. Go to the Blasters Engineering Workshop and roll the long range mod on literally all the things. I'm gonna let you lads in on a secret. There are 3 experimentals here that will reduce the thermal load by 40% when pushing the left mouse button. Feedback cascade is used to cancel portions of a shield cell bank with each successful railgun hit. The percentage of the cancellation is proportional to the damage inflicted during its activation. This means 2 things: that the long range mod is consistent with cancelling banks, since the damage fall off starts at its maximum range, and that feedback cascade effectiveness is fixed, since larger banks require more hits to successfully cascade. Super Penetrator uses experimental munitions to have a much higher degree of penetration, which allows it to cut through internal modules like a hot knife through butter. As the railgun hits, a line is drawn through the ship, and any module that is in this path will take damage. Consequently, having a railgun with each of these effects is very common, since it gives you a lot of flexibility to work with in fights. Plasma Slug generates the ammo directly from ship fuel. The larger your ship's tank, the more plasma slugs you'll be able to fire. Be aware though, that it does drain your fuel tank faster than you'd expect, so bring a fuel scoop for quick refills at your local McDonald's. And if you're using the power play variant, the Imperial Hammer, this fuel conversion is applied to each shot in the volley, because it was obviously tested by competent developers.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck. Oh.
Now when you get into a fight with literally anyone who has a maximum weapon range of 3 kilometers, you no-scope past them, and do a 180-degree flip, while slamming your thrusters into reverse. This is known as kiting, better known as reverse ski. But what is kiting? Kiting is the highest form of in-game annoyance. You make the enemy regret ever engaging you, since you're flexing on them with your superior range control. If they start to get too close for your liking, you place your pips in 4, 2, 0 and no-scope past them. Rinse and repeat until their shields drop, or give up due to sheer frustration. And if you're a mouse and keyboard user, this pretty much becomes a point-and-click adventure for you.
Look at us. Look at how much more comfortable we are now shooting stuff.
Now we are on to the squishy insides. Since we are using a precision weapon, we want to double down on this with some clever use of in-game mechanics. This is called Cycle Previous Subsystem. With a couple of taps, critical modules such as the frame shift drive and power plant can be quickly targeted. And due to the way convergence works, the sweet spot to go after these is between 3 and 6 kilometers for maximum effect. You'll also be doing full damage to a ship before resistances are taken into account, because railguns are cool and good. Here's a quick tip. The damage during a railgun strike is split between thermal and kinetic, with the ratios being 2/3 thermal and 1/3 kinetic. So when you're fighting noob lords who have an overall low thermal resist for their shields, they're gonna go bye bye. At this point you pubbers might be thinking that having 7 railguns is overkill, and you're absolutely fucking right.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
This is the correct way to use the railgun. Now get out there and show those internal modules who is the boss.